What Obsidian Control's control protocol emulator does is it pretends to be many ArtNet gateways. And a gateway being a device that takes in ArtNet over Ethernet and produces DMX512. Now, this is a particularly useful concept because it allows teachers and instructors to demonstrate how ArtNet works and to show how it works over the Ethernet wire without necessarily needing many ArtNet gateways, which are moderately expensive and quite bulky. They tend to be 19-inch rack units and will take up quite a bit of your space when you're traveling around, whereas with a bit of software it's just already on your laptop. It's no additional space, there's no switches required, there's no cabling required, no additional power requirements than just your own computer. So let's start with a little bit of the problem when trying to teach ArtNet or any other Ethernet based lighting control protocols. We have tools like DMX Workshop produced by Artistic License, and it allows us to view what ArtNet gateways are on a network and configure them and look at any RDM, remote device managed equipment that's downstream of that gateway. However, if we open up our node list at the moment, we see absolutely nothing of any use. We can't see what a node would look like, we can't see how we would set its IP address, we can't change its universe. We can't even talk about any of these things because the buttons aren't even there until the first gateway is discovered. It is just a completely empty window. So it's quite hard to teach unless you've got a bit of hardware with you that is able to use it. And as I mentioned earlier, with ArtNet having gone through 4 different major revisions, you potentially want to have multiple bits of equipment to demonstrate how those devices have changed in their behavior over time, because you don't know what piece of equipment your student will be using. This is where the emulator comes in. When I go to ArtNet nodes here, I get a list of devices that are pre-configured into the software that when I hit connect, they will join the emulated lighting network that we have here and will appear, for all intents and purposes, as being a device on the network. They have their own IP address, they have their own MAC address, they can be pinged. So let's do that now. So we immediately see that we've got a Netlinks OP, which is one of the early Artistic License gateways. It's got 2 output universes. We can see down here we've got ports 1 and 2, and we can see that they're set to universes 0 and 1, which is the default state for one of these devices out of the box. And now for the first time we've got information showing up in DMX Workshop that allows us to see how this device is configured, and it allows us to get to the menus. Like, for example, if I go into configuration, I can see how I would go about changing the device name. And because it is an emulated device, I can set that name there, and I can see that it is changed in DMX Workshop, and I can also see that it is changed over in the emulator package, and I can see that that system is working. So if I right-clicked on port 1 here, and I change subnet to 3 and universe to 1, I hit OK there, I can see that not only has port 1 changed to 3-1, which equates out to 49, the second port has also changed its universe number. We didn't configure that. It was previously on 1, and so it's had to take the same subnet value that the product has, and so it is now also changed its universe to 49. So you can see that gotcha happening as someone comes along, goes configure, oh, I'm configuring port 2, I'm going to change that to be this universe value here, and now all of my lights that are plugged into port 1 now don't respond. So there are gotchas with the with ArtNet that people have to be aware of.